Hello, friends. Ugh, 1 second. Ooh, there we go. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Jane Bloodborne's House of Eyeballs, a stream where the stage carriage is on fire and there is no driver at the wheel. The horses are all dead on the ends of their reins. How y'all doing this evening? Ugh. I'm going to do my best to snivel away from the microphone because somehow in record warm weather in the UK I've managed to contract a cold. But it shouldn't be too bad. My voice will be a little different, but we should be okay. So we're here at the Upper Cathedral Ward. We got here last time after listening to me rant on and on and on about what I believe to be Bloodborne's class praxis. But yeah. So, what do we know about this area? We know that it is. It's the headquarters of the choir, and the choir being the mysterious arm of the church that sprung up to investigate the cosmos after the meeting with Ebrietas, who we believe to be the Great One. I don't know if you can hear it, but the sound design here, there's like a very faint song worked into the background track, and it's super cool. Hey Will, hey Fidgety Frolic, hey Dean. Yeah. So, first of all, I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but I'm going to mention it again this week because I love it. You see that up there? That is the, I guess, sort of balcony that we saw right the way down from the regular Ass Cathedral Ward and on the way to Old Yarnum. Like, that is a really neat callback. I don't know if we can see we see the place that we saw it from? I don't know if we can. No, I don't know if we can. There's like a sort of aesthetic continuity in one direction here, which I kind of like. It's sort of like it reinforces your perspective, looking at things in one direction towards the heavens, as you do in Bloodborne, which I like. Right, so we should be able to navigate this area without too much issue, but not through this door. So these friends who we saw last time, again, looking towards the sky, but yeah, they bear a striking resemblance to this strange child that Ariana had for us and we killed to take its umbilical cord. So yeah, rough. We're gonna just kill him. Oh, quite a lot of health. Oh, they do a little gurgly cryy noise. I wonder what that could imply. While I was testing the audio mix, I meant to have a look around, see if we had anything else to do with like echoes and blood chunks and stuff, but I didn't end up doing that, so maybe we'll do that at some point while we're here. So we got a Great Lake rune, which I think we already have one of. No? Well, we have several lake runes. I see. That's just sort of flat damage reduction, which is for cowards. We take our damage on the chin, like champs. 4% damage reduction is for losers. Really interesting thing about the fully charged fierce attack on this katana is it seems to put the enemy into a hard knockdown state where they can't like they become completely intangible and unaffectable by your weapons, which is uncommon. Normally you can, if you get a knockdown, you can continue comboing them if you have stamina left to spend, which is peculiar. I think there are a few other weapons that do that in Bloodborne. I don't know which ones they are. Good friends, the crows. Good to see you, crows. Good to see you without horrifying canine heads. Yeah, we're getting a lot more of that cosmic purple up here, closer to the heavens. I like that. This area looks real nice. You know, for a Bloodborne area, I guess. We get a lot of sort of grand, opulent oranges and yellows as we move into the upper cathedral. Just gotta make sure we're at full health before we fight these friends. Yes, here I am. Come get me. Owned. Oh, no, I was the one who was owned. Why did I burst into flames there? So, we're going to go indoors. Be extremely wary because that friend there is a type of enemy we're going to be seeing a lot of in here. Get our big 1200 damage visceral attack and some choir clothes. Just have a look at what they look like. Look at that, that's a pretty good look. Now, does this look familiar to anyone? Because to me, it looks vaguely like the clothes of the character that we fought and killed in the Bergenworth Observatory. No, the one with the spray. Oh, it's Nat and Claire. Hey, Nat and Claire. Welcome to the House of Eyeballs. It's good to have you. So yeah, it's hinting at that thematic connection with regards to investigations of the cosmos. However, we are going to change back to our knight's clothes because, let's be real, we look way cooler like this. We got a sleigh. Oh my gosh. Thank you for progression with the 2-month resub. I love that. I love it when people sub to this channel. That is cool. So I really like this. Actually, I'll get this item and we can talk about it a bit more. No? Okay. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. Horrifying blue-eyed werewolfy thing? Ugh. So yeah, they're strong now, but we are strong too. So yeah, we're gonna go down here and take a look at this area because it's a nice contrast actually. It's a nice space as it pertains to the spaces that we've seen before. Some more ambient baby crying. Yeah, so this is a really interesting space to me in this game because it provides a dark contrast, I guess, to the it provides a dark contrast to the because we've seen a lot of big opulent halls like these ones, right? Like we saw one in Canhurst Castle. We've seen them a little bit throughout Yharnam and like the church, the cathedral ward and stuff like this. But this one is really interesting because, unlike all of those, it's really badly lit, but on purpose, in a purposeful way. It calls to mind the sort of residential spaces in Central Yharnam that you go through, and there are lots of people hidden in them. And it, like, I guess it, it shows you that, it shows you the same, like, I guess the same, it wants to evoke the same levels of hidden, lurking horror, but in a more formal environment, which I like, because it hints that, it hints that these ideas that the church is seeking to distance itself from lower down in Yharnam, if you chase it up out of the public eye, these issues follow the church, even if it tries to hide from them, which I dig. I don't believe... Nat is in the chat asking if there are any more spiders. I don't know. Obviously, this shadow is meant to make you think about spiders. I don't believe there are any in this area, but don't take my word for it. Just in case. Okay. Wolves. Ow. Oh, this is going to go so wrong. I should not be doing this like this. Oh no. Not being able to pull them except for all three at once is rough. Can I separate one of them from the others? Oh. No. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, even though the enemy does pretty big damage, our damage is pretty thick by this point. I do want to try and hit with this fully charged fierce though. Especially if it has a follow-up, which I think it does. Oh, look at that. Oh. Strong. Oh, big damage. Oh, that's big damage to me. I'm dead now. Oh, rats. Chat's talking about how this game can be particularly rough on the PlayStation 4, and that is true. It can. In fact, we're about to encounter one such. The fight with Rom, the vacuous spider, is particularly taxing sometimes, but also a bit that we're about to come up on. Like, the PS4, even with games as low fidelity as Earth Defense Force 4.1, can sometimes, sometimes you are just trying to render too many bodies, or too big an area with too many moving parts. Physics are a lot. That little cry that these things do is good. Oh no. Bad hitbox. So I guess the thing that we should be thinking about at this point is that having seen, first one, then two, then now great reams of these horrible, cosmic fetus things, like, we want to wonder why the church has so many of these gosh darn cosmos babies kicking around, because, We sure haven't seen them anywhere else. The one other place that we've seen them is when they were birthed out by our late friend Ariana. So yeah, what causes those things to happen? What connections does the church have to the the orphaned babies of the cosmos? What up? Get out of here. Get out of here. Is that? Oh, he's already over there. Hopefully he won't come down here. We're gonna try this again. Oh, we can pick up our echoes, that's nice. Okay, they're all in already. Fair enough, I suppose I would be. If I was a giant wolf. Oh, Jesus. Oh no, this is really bad. This is so bad. Okay. It got better. Ah! No! Okay. Oh, give me this. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Okay. I'm gonna try and get back to high ground and try and create slightly more symmetrical encounters with these wolves. Nope, guess that's not happening. Oh no. Wow, how did I not get hit there? I'm impressed by that. That was some good fortune. Is that a door I can open yet? Or is it locked? I suppose we'll find out. Oh my gosh, thank you for, I'm gonna guess, following. Ow. Okay, well one of the wolves is nearly dead, so that's something. We've gained something from this engagement. I like this plan. Just like... Oh. No, come on. No, don't do this. Ah, that's so annoying. Getting that hitbox caught on the, like... dang. Bad wolves did not want hugs in this manner. Oh well. We're learning, kind of. That visceral attack method seems fine. That seems fine. See, normally I would just... Ugh, horrible. Normally I would just run past the wolves, but like, I kind of want to look around that area. My average playthrough of Bloodborne is a lot more frantic than this one. I spend a lot more time just running past things. Regression is in the chat telling me not to blame the puppies, and I think the puppies should be more respectful of my boundaries, okay? I don't think they're unreasonable, I just don't want to be clawed and maimed. Like, it doesn't seem like a big ask. Maybe it is, I don't know. But it doesn't feel like it is to me. And ultimately, I'm the one... Ooh, did we manage to pull this? Nope. Every time, I believe. Every time, it's not. We got just 2 this time, that's fine. Oh, never mind, here's the devil. Ugh. I hate this. do not want to be fighting 3 wolves at once. This is the problem with being high damage, low defense, is that any asymmetric encounter is very much against you. Ah! Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, Jesus. Ah! Okay, back up the stairs. This is neat. This is like a sort of samurai encounter, like, just sort of have a little fight, run away. Have a little fight, run away. I'm gonna kill you with my bullets. Oh no, not you. No. There we go. That's a bit better. Slightly fewer. Oh, god damn it. Never mind. We pulled another wolf. We've gained nothing. God damn it, video games. When will you learn? Okay. Heck that. I'm not going to fight with wolves. Regression in the chat has noted that I am low on blood vials, and I sure as heck am. That's kind of one of the reasons that I wanted to get those echoes back, actually, so I could... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to equip the Bold Hunter's Mark. And then I'm going to go and get those echoes, spend them all on blood vials, and then just run through that area, because I can't be bothered. Cannot be bothered trying to chance fighting those wolves properly. Like, their pull patterns are so unpredictable that you just kind of have to hope. Ow, that's not the attack I was expecting. Oh no, I'm dead now. Oh no, not quite, but almost. Did the cleric also fall? Is that what happened? Oh yeah, there he is. Well. Did we die downstairs this time? Hello, why are you here? Oh shit, I'm gonna die. No, why? Oh, video games. Video games. I would like to locate my blood echoes before. Oh, have you got them? Oh, god damn it. Oh, I seem to have pulled just you. Okay, well, that is good. That's a fair few. I can just... Oh, let's take no risks. Let's buy some blood vials. That way we don't have to interrupt this stream more than once. We should be able to get a fair few for 44k. You snooze on. Dog. How many can we get? What do you think? 61? Probably see us through. What about upgrades? Can we upgrade Evelyn? No. Not even close.
What is it you...
How much do we need to level up? 33k. Okay. Okay.
Farewell, mate.
So, how much cold blood do we have? Okay, cool. In that case, let us continue. Nope, not there. Here? Nope. Here? I guess it is here. Chat is talking about how it's extremely poorly communicated how the storage system in the game works. Yes, I thought that. I thought that the green cross-out icon that you got was saying that you were not picking up the item because you didn't have space for it. It's not particularly well communicated that that is being stored for later use. But once again, that's video games for you. Okay, so I don't know if any of you saw before, but that horrifying bone shaman that we saw downstairs, that's the way that we're going. So yeah, my approach to this room will be to pick off the wolves if I can get them, but otherwise mostly just avoid them. I see that thinking, you can pull that wolf through the wall, eh? That's a peculiar thing. Yeah, we're gonna go over there somewhere. Can I? Yeah, they pull each other. Okay, sure. That makes sense. Alright, well, let's go the other way. Let's go, let's give them the old run around. Because I'm fairly sure we don't have the key to that door just yet. We'll get it. Just, we don't have it right now. What up? Oh no, my brains. No! Wow, my insight. The drinking the eyes out of my head. I'm against this. Ah! Okay. That was pretty silly. But we did get the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge. Oh my gosh, Funkstar's in the chat. Hey Funkstar. And hey Grand Funktopus. Yeah, they suck, but also they attack. I hate it. I hate the suck. Badge of the Choir. See, we've got that eye with that. Well, obviously it plays onto our eye motif, but we've also got the cosmos motif in the actual sort of jewel of the eye. Here we stand, feet planted in the earth, but might the cosmos be very near us, only just above our heads? And this is something that Bloodborne is very concerned with, and the in universe as well. The individual structures of Bloodborne are very concerned with the. You know, do we imagine the distance between ourselves and the cosmic, between ourselves and the divine, between ourselves and our creator? You know? Are we closer to God than we think? Bloodborne says maybe. Oh, I hate that. I hate that a lot. Okay. So, we can't open this door yet, can we? No. Oh, what? The one time! God damn it. There's no... Is there a secret passage over this side? No. So, can we open this door? No. Well, we're screwed now. Ah, god damn it, that is so much damage. I have literally forgotten how you navigate this area. Oopsie. Yeah, what? Why interpret a level design in good faith when you can just not do that? It's doing weird things to the sound, which I kind of like. Uh-oh. Wow, managed to get killed anyway. Neat. I killed myself with my own sword there. Getting the whole spectrum of gameplay here. Does feel good to have bullets that do real damage though. Is that just the one there? I think there is. Okay, there is a secret passage on the left hand side. I thought there was. Dog's having a fun time. Oh yeah, okay. We're gonna have another look on this side. Give it our best. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so... chunks. I know a trap when I see it. What up? That's neat level design. You're like, you know, you're led to think that you're safe because you've gotten out of this horrible room of death wolves and, oh Jesus, and this guy's just... this guy's not particularly concerned about staggering from my attacks, huh? Oh, that's a bit better. Good. Fear the sword blood. There we go. This is where we wanted to go. This just lets us not only walk along here, but also we can open up another door. As long as we don't get killed by this friendo. A lot of items up here. Is he just going to come all the way over here, or...? I think we should play to that probability, huh? There we go. As long as we're doing blood damage. I think these guys are like very tough against a lot of specific types of damage, but not all damage. Okay, some blue elixir. Oh, blindfold cap. Symbolism. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, love it. So this is what the choir scholar at the Bergenworth was also wearing, right? We've seen this before. So, wear hat. Blindfold cap. Highest ranking clerics of the Healing Church, scholars who continue the work that began at Bergenworth. The eye covering indicates their debt to the teachings of Master Willem, even though their paths have diverged. So yeah, the focus is on, like, obviously we have our you know, obvious visual symbolism of blindness, short-sightedness, you know, perhaps folly or error of ways, but also, like, as we've seen, we have this this focus on insight, on internal sight, on seeing, you know, seeing the where am I going with this? Yeah, focus on insight, focus on internal sight, focus on understanding of the self versus a particularly cohesive or strong understanding of the world, right? So, like it says, that we have these two divergent paths. We have Willem, who was convinced that in order to understand the cosmos, we needed to understand humanity itself better, whereas what's his chops? Mikolash and I guess to a lesser extent, like Lawrence, thought that we were better off understanding. We were better off contacting the divine directly to understand it, rather than any kind of internal struggle. Is there a... Oh, okay, that friend has already seen me. That's kind of weird, but okay. No! Fuck. My insight. No! My brains. Oh no, 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 no. Ah, oh, god damn it. I hate that. Yeah, look at those brain suckers. So yeah, they represent like a kind of, I guess, a different path of, a different path towards like monstrosity and grossness that we encounter in this kind of, this area of the game, right? So these creatures have become, they've become sort of scabrous and wretch-like, and have developed these enormous tentacles that serve seemingly only to extract the insight of others. Having exhausted all possible, they believe, all possible avenues to enlightenment, they've seen fit to begin to, you know, resolve to just merely take it from others. And like, it's neat. It's an interesting kind of monstrosity to be concerned with as a video game, I would say. There's not many video games where, you know, the pursuit of knowledge is presented in such a monstrous way like this, but like, sometimes academia really do be like that. Dean is in the chat telling me I don't need all of these eyes, and I'm offended by this notion. I need as many eyes as I can get my brain on. Or I guess get onto my brain, you could say. You've got my blood echoes. I want them back. I'm going to try not to get command grab this time. Get my invincibility frames. There we go. Blood damage. Oh no. Ah, there we go. The orphanage key. That is what we're here for. So we're going to open up this door. Decline to say hello to that werewolf. Just for now. We are going to go out here. This, one second, is the balcony that we saw from all the way over there, I think. I'm pretty sure that's where those spaces go together. But what exactly happened here? Well, there's the moon. And here is a sort of weird skeleton telling us that it is roughly 9 p.m. And this teaches us the make contact gesture. And this is one of those examples of Bloodborne using, explicitly speaking, metatextual elements to describe the inner workings of its themes, right? And we're going to take this hat off because it's not as cool as our crown. Right, so we are going to make contact with the moon. First we're going to just have a little quick fist pump, and then we're going to make contact. So the name of this gesture, like, it tells you what it's for, right? Like, we're here in the Upper Cathedral Ward, explicitly the domain of the choir, and, you know, here we are with a desiccated husk person, paralyzed in the position that they have chosen to name the position of contact. And it's like, whoa. What's going on here? Will is in the chat saying, can they lore dump about what this person is doing? And I mean, I guess. I don't know what lore there is to dump, but... See, look, if you leave it for long enough, you change hands. That's neat. There are not many gestures in the world of, in Dark Souls that, like, change over time. But, like, this is an interesting thing, right? This is so we have our, we're sort of making this, you know, depending on where you look at it from, either 9 p.m. or, you know, quarter past 12? I don't know. Anyway, the point is, like, this is an interesting thing. This is something that's like science fiction work has touched on quite extensively, I guess, and also I guess you could argue Lovecraft's work, right? They talk at some length about the idea of angles, right? The idea of, like, what we're making here. This is a right angle, right? And 90 degrees. So something that Lovecraft's work was obsessed with. If he is ever talking about geometry, he's talking about how it has too many right angles. And similarly, like Stanley Kubrick's 2001, I guess you could say it was also Arthur C. Clarke's script. The alien civilization in 2001 communicate with humanity by creating an object that is angular in nature. It has right-angled corners, and it has ratios of it has like the dimensions of it are in ratio to one another, are all prime, and that is the way that these aliens communicate to humanity, that they have an understanding of math. And this is that sort of similar thing, right? We have a gesture that through the, you know, I guess the iconographical medium of the human body communicates a comprehension of maths, communicates a comprehension of, you know, angles and stuff. And I guess this is this idea of if you're someone who is in the business of thinking about how weird like the ideas of human society are, and like if your whole deal is that you say that isn't it wild that in the vastness of the cosmos, human society exists, humanity exists, and like cognition exists. The idea that there is a shared language, even if your interpretation of it is anthropocentric, the idea that there is a shared language that could be shared between people who had nothing else in common whatsoever, just as long as they agree on a set number of like certain principles, that's wild, that's cool, and that's something that is being hinted at here. Oh hey, Shock Sorbet's in the chat. What's up, Shock Sorbet? Okay, we're going to go back down to Wolf Town and try and get this orphanage door open. Oh, first, we're going to... Where is it? So the orphanage, shadowed by the Grand Cathedral, was a place of scholarship and experimentation where young orphans became potent, unseen thinkers for the Healing Church. The choir that would later split from the Healing Church was a creation of the orphanage. So, we have the orphanage, right? The orphanage is, you know, as its name suggests, a place where young orphans became potent, unseen thinkers for the church. So, this is a place that the church hid and eventually split off from the church, where, you know, as yet unknown groups of... Is that walking? As yet unknown groups of orphans were experimented on to become thinkers for the church. Now, this is a really interesting thing, right? Because so far in the world of Bloodborne, we've encountered, if I'm not mistaken, exactly 2 children, and both of them were the children of Father Gasquagny, right? So, like, the idea of a community of children, like, all united by one, I guess, feature, is interesting, because we haven't really bumped into that group of... people. Like, that section of society is very poorly represented so far. Ah, what the hell? What the hell? What? Excuse me? I mean, I guess I did die, but, like, did I? Now, Will is saying I missed a child. Which child did I miss? No funny jokes about cosmic children. I suppose, like, if you... Ariana's child maybe counts, but if we're counting that, then these are all children too, right? But that's interesting, because here we are by the orphanage, and here are all of these things that, having gone through that side plot line with Ariana, we understand to be children, and here they are, just farting around in the grounds of this orphanage. Who has abandoned them? One wonders, because Ariana certainly wasn't an orphan. You know, she didn't like it very much, but she was technically there. These things give you a lot of blood echoes. No, not this time. Oh, owned. Right, I think before I do the run to the door to the orphanage, I am going to spend these blood echoes, because it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. Can you tell I was reading the chat just there? Did anything I did in the game tip you off? So, Nat is in the chat talking about how the pale grey goo that splashes out of the brain suckers is much worse than blood, and that is true. Again, a purposeful choice, because we talked before about how the sedatives, the description for the sedatives mentions that the drinking of blood is to remind the scholars of the essence of humanity, the baseness of their flesh. So the movement of the blood of the brain suckers away from the baseness of that humanity is a purposeful choice. And it's the same with the gooey Bergenworth scholars that we found in the Nightmare Lecture building. Oh, this is not what I wanted to spend these on. I could spend them on a level, and then the rest on files.
Welcome. What is very ordinary.
More blood tinge. We're going to see if our weapons can do with any repairing. Still no Graham. Yes. And then the rest on blood vials. Probably got about 2. Octavius is in the chat talking about how if the make contact gesture is a reference to the understanding of maths from the demonstration of the understanding of maths in like any first contact gesture, like, you know, from 2001 or from something like Star Trek, it's phoned in, and like Bloodborne is not a game of particularly complex or subtle references. Like, you know, this is a game that it very much wears its influences on its sleeves, and I think that's to its credit. So, you know, I wouldn't say that a reference being phoned in makes it less likely or worse for Bloodborne. Which is not to say that, you know, it was necessarily intentional, but it certainly calls similar things to mind, you know. Okay. So now we're going to go and see what these orphans have to say for themselves. Hello. Goodbye. Oh, god damn it. No. Yep. Oh, good. Ah. It seems like something that happens quite a lot. Oh well. Oh, terrible. Wow, I'm about to get beaten by a door. This is nice. It's like a greenhousey area. I kind of dig it. I don't know what you would call a sort of courtyard with, you know, grated, not quite windows. Anyway, I'm going to leave that wolf and instead continue up this way. So I don't know if we've seen this statue before, but if we haven't, it's like and even if we have, I guess, it's like a neat graduation of this this sort of sea creature shellfish theme that we've seen. It's like it's very evocative of the kinds of things that Lovecraft described in The Shadow over Innsmouth. Is these very human-like visages, but with, you know, very clear sea creature-like features. Like, you wouldn't expect sea creatures to have these very defined leg and hand structures, but also, like, you wouldn't expect people to be covered in fucking suckers and have shells. And the gradual union of these two images is something that happens over the course of Bloodborne in a way that I like a lot. And it indicates things about... It indicates something about humanity and the divine in a way that is much less racist than it was in The Shadow over Innsmouth. Conservatory. That's a much better word than greenhouse. Look! It's our friend the bulb head. Now, the kin, as we call them before. And indeed will again. So this is the orphanage. And it's looking pretty empty right now. There's a sort of garden. So what were we seeing? What were we seeing about, you know, apparently there were some unseen thinkers, you know, being made out of the orphans here, according to the item descriptions that we've read. So where's the evidence of that, eh? Could it be here? So this is the first of hopefully 2 boss fights we're going to be doing here, which is the Celestial Emissary boss fight. And it basically takes the form of this massive number of these kin mobs that we've found so much on. They're gross, but they're cool. I like them. Remember we talked before about how they are some of the first uses of non-human characters doing arcane magic in the game, and like that, you know, leads you to believe that it's quite possible that if they're, you know, very old, maybe it is them that taught arcane magic to people. And then being here in this place of explicit learning and inquisition into the cosmos, you know, lends credence to that idea, I guess. Emissary has eluded me. So yeah, this first stage of the boss fight, you basically just get ganked by loads and loads and loads of these things, and one of them is the boss version. Eventually you'll hit one and the boss health bar will go down and you'll be like, aha, it's that one. So another interesting thing that's worth thinking about these things is that, you know, with regards to the narrative, I guess, is that we've seen them somewhere else, right? We saw them in the Forbidden Woods doing magical spells on us. We also saw them inside and on the way to Yosef's clinic, right? Indeed, I told you, the narrator said that. The narrator said that the more people you send to Yosefka's clinic, the more people there are who are, yeah, the more of these things there are in the clinic. And that is very interesting. We don't have a great weapon for this boss fight, but that's okay. We do this. Here you go. Luckily, our blood damage is just ridiculous at this point, so you don't have to worry too much. Yeah, so it's probably not any of the ones attacking us. It's probably this one. But something's happening. Now, he big. So, yeah, wild. So this is an interesting idea, right? It's interesting that the game decides to inform us that this thing is a celestial emissary, literally a messenger from the gods. But also, it has a form that we have cleanly been demonstrated is accessible to mortals. It's not only accessible to mortals, but some of the greater structures of the world of Bloodborne have had access to this sort of being for some time. Ow. Wow, that's still not very much damage. Okay, that was perfect. Oh. Alright. Can I... So Shark Sorbet is in the chat asking if this will be the stream where I finally explain why this game is less racist than the work of Lovecraft, and I mean, I'll explain why this particular... I will explain what the particular reference to the Shadows over Innsmouth I will explain, but if you want my, you know, get up on my soapbox for why Bloodborne is less racist, or at least different, you know, is definitely like, it deals with and interrogates the racism of Lovecraft's work in an interesting way. You've missed it. It was last week. But that's okay. It'll be online shortly. And, like I said, the specific reference to the Shadows over Innsmouth will be interrogated on this stream. Don't you worry. Oh, come on. I see you. Okay, so I have actually not fought this boss too many times. As in, or rather, I've not fought it, like, in earnest many times. So I have no idea if you can visceral attack it or not. Which feels like something I should probably know. But, yeah, straight up, don't. So, who knows how well this is going to go. Oh. Long arms. And just a whole host of things. Oh, jeez. Am I dead? Can I get up? Wow, come on! That was a very, very long recovery animation. But yeah, this is the kind of boss that, if you're like me, you probably only run into when you're right at the end of the game. So, like, I don't have a lot of experience fighting this boss without just ridiculous equipment, which we almost have. And in some ways we do have, but we're not very resilient at the moment. I always do blood damage to this boss, but I'm not getting to attack it when I want to. Whoa. No. No. Wrong head. No. Prey slaughtered. And we get a communion rune. Now, that's interesting, right? Because we get a communion rune from a messenger from the gods, which is this one of these weird blob thingies, which you know, we have surmised by this point probably taught humans how to use magic. Now, communion, as the church have described it, is well, it's all of blood ministration, like all of the drinking of blood to enhance the traits of humanity in, you know, whatever way, is communion. So, like, what this kind of sets up for us, and indeed may have done already, I actually can't remember where we got the previous communion room, but it sets up this potential idea that all of these technologies that we have used to, we've seen used throughout the game to ascend beyond mortality, as it were, have been the result of intervention from these kin, these, you know, explicitly otherworldly creatures, which is neat. That's a nice thing to park right at the end. And given what we know about the achievability of this form through perhaps, you know, untoward means that we've seen at the hands of people like Yosefka, like,
Welcome. What is it, Jude?
is it possible that the church were, you know, forcibly enacting a transformation onto people to achieve this kind of insight that they so desired? Is it like, you know, is that possible? Is that likely? Or is there some other meaning to the idea of these orphans, like, or this orphanage? Like, you know, who was orphaned at this orphanage? Where are all these orphans from? Were they the orphans of the stars themselves, perhaps? Well, we have a little bit yet to find, so we should surge onwards, really. I think that puts us at 37 blood tinge, which is just 3 shy of perfect. The Lumen Flower Gardens. So Dini is in the chat saying that none of the side areas in this game feel tacked on, and that's such an achievement. And that's completely correct. Like, the first time I played through this game, I was genuinely impressed by the way that, like, none of these areas, like, so basically there are functionally like 3 final bosses, I guess, and none of them feels like the right one. They're all just different endpoints of the different threads through this game that you can follow. Because one of the main ways that I think this game, one of the main things that I'm glad this game takes from Lovecraft's writing is the idea of investigation being a inherently, like, interesting and I guess in some ways noble pursuit. Like, against this backdrop of scholars and, you know, explicit dedicated seekers of knowledge, like, the investigator, the you know, the one who is just interested but, you know, seeks out to satisfy their curiosity in however, like, unorthodox ways, is still a seeker of knowledge, still seeks a greater understanding of the world around them. And, like, that is effectively an arc that carries Bloodborne very well by giving you this by giving you the premise that is full of mystique, full of, like, weird obtuseness that you're not really given any tools with which to understand. It makes you into an investigator of the world of Bloodborne, which you always have been in FromSoft's games. Like, that is the implicit setup for all of their games. Like, they give you vast textured worlds for you to explore and to investigate. But in Dark Souls, where that fits into the narrative by saying, here's this world, it's very, not only geographically, but logically, historically deep, and you can see as much or a little as you can, and, like, basically Bloodborne feeds it into its narrative by saying you want to investigate, you want to find out as much as you can. And I guess, like in Dark Souls, there is an ending of Bloodborne that sees you deciding that you know enough about Yharnam and want to forget it. And I think maybe we'll try and see that ending. It won't be this week, maybe next week, maybe the week after, but I'm toying with the idea of storing my save file so that we can see more than one of the endings and also do the DLC without going through to New Game Plus, because that would suck. I don't want to do that. In fact, if I end up going to New Game Plus and can't restore my save, I just won't do the DLC on stream, because heck that into the bin. This is a familiar location design, huh? What does this remind you of? I mean, you know, apart from literally every other building in the game, because it's Gothic architecture and it's a church. This looks remarkably like the church at the Grand Cathedral, huh? In fact, I believe it literally is. I can't see it from here. Maybe it's not. It looks like it. Oh, Cool Beyond. Another cool item we have no chance of ever using. I can't quite remember if the geography matches up, but I think this is the church. Wait, is that the skull that we see? Yeah, this is totally the church. Okay, cool. Anyway. What do we pick up? We picked up a Call Beyond, which is another of the arcane items that we have no chance of ever using. So, one of the secret rites of the choir. Long ago, the Healing Church used phantasms to reach a lofty plane of darkness, but failed to make contact with the outer reaches of the cosmos. The rite failed to achieve its intended purpose, but instead created a small, exploding star, now a powerful part of the choir's arsenal. At times, failure is the mother of invention. So this tells us an interesting thing, right? I can't show it to you, but this spell turns out to be the one that Mikolash and the unnamed choir scholar at the Bergenworth Observatory used against us, that creates that big radial explosion of arcing stars. And so it shows us that the choir, used these phantasms to summon, to make contact with the outer reaches of the cosmos, but to reach what they called a lofty plane of darkness, but failed to actually achieve the contact that they wanted. Not meaning, but like implying that they gained a greater understanding of, their creation of the universe, but it didn't satisfy them. It didn't give them what they wanted. Which, if you think about it, you could argue is probably the only potential outcome, right? Like, I don't know. How are you ever going to have a conversation with God? This game seems to be, at its core, about how the conversation with God that you want to have is not going to go the way that you want it to go. Like, your vision of God will end up being made of dead people or other horrible things. It will tell you things about it will tell you things about your it will tell you things about your relationship to other people that, like, you don't want to hear. Like, I don't know that Bloodborne necessarily concludes that you're better off not meeting God, but it definitely doesn't think that meeting God will go how you want it to go. And we are about to test that theory. I thought they were going to leave us alone, but they didn't. Because right here, underneath the Grand Cathedral, through the orphanage, the church's hidden secret laboratory, I guess, testing facility, we find this. The Altar of Despair. And that, which, looks like premium wife material, so we're going to go right over there and say hi. Oh, I love this. I just love this. The ruins of everything the church has made. Here it is. Moonlight shining down upon it. Only FromSoft would put a wife this high quality in an area you could probably miss. And here she is. Powerful wife. This, my friends, is Ebrietas, the daughter of the cosmos. And we see her here, bathed in what little moonlight there is in this cave, literally in the ruins of the world, sat at this altar, despairing on the death of whatever the fuck this is. I love this video game. I love this video game. I love the attempt and success at the depiction of sorrow and, you know, loss from a creature that is like 90% horrifying tentacles. It works still. And not only that, it's mourning also a giant, horrible spider creature, which bears you'll notice, a striking resemblance to our friend Rom, the vacuous spider. Although I'm assured they're not the same thing. But yeah, wow. It looks cool as hell. It looks so cool. Ugh. Steal her look. Like, it's everything else that we've seen has been like, due to the thematic nature of the things that we've discussed, like vaguely anthropocentric, right? Either it represents this idea of humanity trying to bring divinity onto its own terms. If, like, creatures like the One Reborn and, to some extent, the Celestial Emissary represent humanity trying to contextualize the divine, Ebrietas represents no attempt made at that whatsoever. Its structure only barely makes sense. Her structure, sorry, only barely makes sense. Interesting visual parallel here. These wings look remarkably like the non-wings of the celestial fetus things from over there. This is what the kids call a big mood. You're completely right. But yeah, I would date this. I would date this friend. She looks like she needs some care and attention. Sadly, Bloodborne is not a game about dating, or at least not outside of my fan fictions. Bloodborne is a game about sword. Sword is really the only verb we have access to. I mean, we have gun, but it's like a worse sword, really. So, yeah. I just wanted to spend a little bit of time appreciating the design and just the imagery being used in this boss, because very shortly I'm gonna get very upset because it's very hard. It's a very hard boss. She kill you, and then she kill you again. She kill your brother. She kill you. But hopefully, with time and practice, we kill her too. Oh, that went badly. Luckily, it's pretty much a straight shot. We can just run there. I dared to dream we might get damage for our first few attacks. I did warn you that she killed me. It's the first thing that I said. In fact, I said it more than once, just to make sure you got it. Sadly, I've not pulled the lift up, so we're gonna have to kill these Celestials. I like that they put this little, this arcane celestial here. So like, just in case you didn't get it, just in case you'd forgotten, because that fight with the emissary out there with all of these celestial kin doesn't actually have much in the way of arcane magic. But just in case you didn't get it, you get a call beyond there, you test it out, it goes, whoo, you're like, cool. And then they put a single celestial mob in here to do it again for you. Like, did you get it? We made this. I like that. It's fun. Chet seems to have invented a Scar cover, a Scar Swans cover band. A Swans Scar cover band called Meat Trumpets, and I'm in. I like it. So yeah, the daughter of the cosmos is an interesting idea, right? Like, what does the idea of family mean to a divine? What is the cosmos, and how did it do a baby? She has a lot of health, huh? I have no idea if I'm going to do this today. I have no idea if I'm even going to try this that much today. But yeah, like everything we know about like Ebrietas and the Great Ones, and like the contact with Ebrietas that sparked the formation of the choir, like, this is a lot for us. Okay, we cannot focus on the head for any longer than we need to. Oh, she do the big charge. That's a real pain. I think it has 2 hit frames, and if the second one hits you, you're just fucked. Ow. Damn. She's strong. She's a powerful one. I'm glad we picked this one to be our wife. She was a good candidate. Bloodborne got so many good wives. Oh. Looks like we got a visceral. Nope, move. There we go. That's not bad. That's not bad. Oh no, she's flying with her horrible wings. Well, we got it to half, which is good. I like that. I wish you'd stop. I know our relationship got off to a bad start, but please be my wife. Oh, I hate that. It's the most comical hitbox. Please don't charge me again. Oh god. Jesus. Good heavens, my lord. My lord, my lady, my wife. I'd rather you didn't. I would prefer not to. Does that? I can't remember what that energy field does. Does it stop you from dodging? Come on. die. That's impressive. Well, we did that time. Okay. So yeah, chat is talking about the gradual shift of cosmic majesty in the game, and that is again like it's something that I think is done really, really well in this game. It goes from bewilderment and fear at the idea that any of the things in the game are happening to sort of again fear and questioning at like the sort of as you learn the nature of these events, and then ow, what the hell? As you learn, you know, the nature of these events, and then as you get to this point, as you truly brush with God, the music becomes choral and of wonder. I think that's really, really cool. Like, we talked a lot about how Miyazaki's team, someone on Miyazaki's team is fascinated with the idea of, I guess, like, spins on and perversions of divinity and grace and, like, I guess royalty in a kind of way. And, like, this is a different take on that, right? Instead of forgotten or diminished over time divinity and grace, we now have like a divinity and grace that is completely alien to us. Like there is a clear divine and graceful angle to this being, but it is so beyond our comprehension that like it's grotesque to us, but nevertheless like it's difficult to deny, right? Like, she divine. I'd like you to not just kill me. That, I like a lot about this boss. That charge is not one of those things. No. Come on. Is there anywhere that doesn't hit you? Gordo ass hitbox. Come on. Whip your hair back and forth. Ah! Fight seems pretty conditional on her just not doing that much. Like, do I have to unlock? So I seem to just wheel around into the back end of the hitbox. Okay. Jeez. I'm not for this. I'm in fact against it. I'm running out of blood. Give me your face. Yeah, so chat is saying I need to break block if I see that happening. The problem is I don't really know when it happens. It's a bit late by that time. By the time I've seen the startup animation. Okay, yeah, it's definitely worth getting a transformation attack in. Noted. Oh, that was bad. Oh no! The frenzy. The frenzy! Never mind. That's just gonna happen. Well, I'm gonna try and play this out. Do you reckon she can be convinced not to charge at me if I stay right up in longer? No. Guess not. Oh, I see. Being inside the energy fields really drains your health. Cool. Well, being slightly closer rather than functionally into the range is doing okay. Alright, I'm gonna try and be slightly closer. And just eat the dash. Because I think if you only get hit by the first hitbox, if you get hit like super early in the animation, it stops you getting hit the second time. I don't know if that's 100% true, but it feels true. And often that's more important. Also, blood attacks, definitely very good. Hello, goodbye. Ah, rude. Yeah, if it takes more than like 2 more goes, I think I will summon this hunter. Damien of Mensis. Oh, wow. Oh no. Wish I had a longer weapon. Ugh. Oh, I'm done. Oh, wow, I managed to avoid it that time? Okay. I'll take it. Oh, I'm getting hit by the attack I should be punishing. The good news is that I'm pretty sure that this is the hardest of the 3 final bosses. The 3 final bosses of the main game. Oh, what? Oh, fuck. Come on. No, I'm gonna get killed. No. I kind of want to get killed. Do I have blood I can drink? No. Oh. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'll take Yosefka's dirty blood. I don't know if it's actually dirty, but she was a bad person. But then maybe I'm a bad person. I did kill her. All of us will die before these questions are answered. So Dean is talking about how this game has a surprisingly inverse difficulty curve, and I agree. In fact, it's one of the things that I like the most about the game. It has an interesting thematic consequence, which I will talk about as we get closer to the end. Maybe when I beat this boss, who knows. Oof, oof. Big damage. Okay, yeah, so that tentacle attack hits twice, and if I get hit the second time, it's just a bad time. Also, it seems if I'm very close, that head smash attack comes out real quick. Ugh. Wow, damage. It's big. Oh, come on. No. Unlocking and dashing is impractical. I refuse to put in the time to practice to do that. What the... What? What hit me there? Jeez. She... Damage. She do kill me and kill me and kill me. I was right. That... I'm against it. I'm against it. Yeah, it's a different version of that attack. Oh, that was a good time for that to happen. Oh, jeez. I'm not going to be able to get to my senses in time. No. Just dead. Just dead. Jeez. You should really choose through your blood vials as well. Yep, because I've just run out. Awesome. Right. What now? What now? How much do we have after... Oh wow, that's almost none, huh? This is a predicament. What can we sell that isn't nailed down? That still doesn't get us much of anything. That's quite a few. Okay. Let's try again, this time with a friend. Hopefully they don't just get immediately killed. Yeah, that should work. I think that works. Is there anything else we care about here, really? No. Nope. Okay. What up? Yeah, okay. What up, Mensa Scholar Damien? You have a cane? Fair enough. And a whatever that is. I don't know what that is. I guess that's a DLC thing, huh? Oh, he's going for it. He's in. I like your style, Damien. You don't afraid of anything. Oh, him magic. Wow, that's not a lot of damage, Damien. I do not foresee this partnership lasting very long. Come on, Damien. He can heal himself. That's not bad. Oh, that's stupid. Well, I'm glad she's finally charging someone else. Did Damien? No, Damien is not. Oh! Oh, I'm amazing! Oh, Damien's been thrown. Oh dear. Don't die, Damien. Please don't die. Well, he's not dead yet. Now he's dead. Okay. I think we might be fucked. Yep, thanks. I got that. Oh, Jesus. Well, we know. Awesome. Let's try that again, shall we? Katsuro Fits 56 is in the chat saying that it was probably Damien doing all the magic that activated Ebrietas' stun window, and that may be literally true, but that doesn't mean it wasn't me. Okay? Never deny cool things. Well, Damien helped. I think if we're slightly more supportive of Damien, maybe our chances are a bit better than if not. Damien walking into that command throw was pretty foolish. Don't do that, Damien. See, Flotaro knows where it's at. I got the last hit, which means it was me. Here's something I don't get. I don't get why the NPC hunters take ages to load in, as though you were summoning them. Like, okay, this time it didn't take long. But oh, don't use up your magic on the fucking fetuses. What are you doing, man? Come on, Damien. Well. I'm going to conduct this portion of the fight at long range. Oh no, it's all gone wrong. No, I'm caught in the box. Oh, goodness. Oh, I'm still in blood drain mode. What are you doing, Damien? Why is it not magic missile? Get owned. Get owned. Well, it was nice knowing you, Damien. Ooh. Oh. The energy field. The energy field is a big deal. I'm annoyed about the energy field. Please don't die, Damien. You're my only hope. Damien's definitely gonna die. I'm not ready for that. Oh, no, maybe he's not. Maybe I'm gonna die first. Well, bye, Damien. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Jesus. No! Jesus Christ, I'm dead. Come on. I hate this. Oh, crap. That's a throw. I'm dead. Am I going to get out of this throw before... Nope, dead. Jeez. This is a difficult boss fight. Well. She chomp. I didn't know my powerful wife was into that kind of thing, but I guess now I do. What was I looking for? Oh, we don't have it. Where? Okay. Huh. Ugh. Do it. Fall, you coward. Oh no, my frenzy. No! Oh, fuck. Well, good thing we have a lot of insight to burn through. The buttock strategy is fairly successful. The problem with the buttock strategy is that once she has the energy field up, we don't do a lot of damage. And also she turns to face us very quickly. As long as she's not focusing on Damien, she just turns to face us and we get owned. We did marginally better that time. I think we're doing okay. We're not doing amazing, we're doing okay. That's interesting. I think against bosses, multiple lights is better than a fierce. Wow, it's just missed. That's funny. Ow. Oh, she's invincible while she's throwing. Is Damien just dead now? Didn't even get to phase 2. Oh, Damien. Ah, oh, things are terrible again, immediately. I hate it a lot. Okay, so here's an idea. What if I stay unlocked? I'm so out of practice fighting unlocked, so... Fuck! Damn it. Hey, Kazim Hazard. Welcome to the stream. I can't believe Damien died on me. What a villain. Alright. Still doing reasonably okay. I'm okay, just sort of... If it's not too tedious to watch, I'm okay just sort of gradually running this boss. Ugh. Oh, got a lot of health back this time. What are you? That was weird. Owned. Alright, let's see if you can do a bit better this time, Damien. Do better, Damien. I expect more from you. You're a Mensis. You're a Menzies guy. You're meant to be better than this. Oh, what? Okay, I had a sedative by accident. I forgot that square was not just the monocular button. Oopsie. Let's get her, Damien. Shoot at her with your magic. I appreciate Damien's dedication. He's committed to the bit, if nothing else. Ow. Ugh. Hate that. Did you just auger that? Damien, respect. All eyes on me, doll. Wife. No, leave him alone. He's my guest. Energy field. Oh. Guess it's Damien getting ganked this time. Get up, Damien. You're the best around, Damien. Don't let her keep you down. She's got to face up to the consequences of... No, never mind. She does not have to face up to the consequences of her actions. She can just command for a Damien instantly if she needs the damage. Awesome. I miss Damien. Remember Damien? He was fun. Not like you. You're mean. Ah, doing so well. Okay, we don't want to be at this range, do we? Is that the attack we have to be punishing now? No. I like how you get like a sort of tinnitus sound when you're standing inside the energy field. Oh, wow, that's a lot. Really wow. Nope, not that attack. I'm so confused as to what is vulnerable now. I just can't tell. Oh, that qualifies. Just. Nope, never mind. Well, eventually we'll just get chiseled out by that, so we need to do something. Maybe we'll try attacking the booty. Ow. I hate that this is happening. Oh, god damn it. Oh, visceral. Okay, that's not too much damage. So close, so close. Ugh. Well, we had vials, but now we're out of bullets. Which we weren't really using for anything, but even still, I don't like being out of bullets. Even if we invested so much in our gun. Rude. Oh, Nat's going to bed. Good night, Nat. Thanks for coming. Ugh. We were tantalizingly close to doing it that time, so I'm at least going to try once more. I don't want to be here. It seems like a bad place to be. So it seems that just I see that's the heal item. It seems that just believing in my all damage all the time philosophy is what we should do the whole time. No, don't kill Damien. Not now. He's done so well. Don't kill me either. Rest in peace, wife. My powerful wife. Thank you, Damien. Damien was using the quiet bell. We did get healed by Damien at one point. So, yeah. This is the conclusion of one of the, I guess, the trees of the structures of power of Bloodborne, right? This is as far as you can go into the world of the Healing Church. This sort of cave underneath all of the churches, underneath the cathedral, in amongst all of these horrifying statues, housing the church's great secret. The daughter of the cosmos herself, Ebrietas, is effectively the conclusion of the church's plotline in Bloodborne, I guess you could say. Like, the implications of this creature being here are pretty significant, right? Because, like, it's established that the brief contact with, but failure to gain a significant audience with the Great Ones is what sparked everything that was happening at Bergenworth. All of the things about the, the Mensis ritual. These are all in attempts to understand the cosmos, to, as I've said before, get closer to God. But, like, I'm just going to sit inside this pillar, huh? But, like, the church has known the whole time that God is right here. So what does this imply? What does does this imply that Bergenworth didn't know that Ebrietas was down here the whole time, and if they wanted to truly contact her, they could just come downstairs and say hi? Or does this imply that the church did, that Bergenworth did know and was unsatisfied with the things that they found? It's interesting. It's an interesting idea. And similarly, like, though I am told it is not the body of Rom, although I feel like it could be, the presence of this thing here and Ebrietas' sorrowful reverence of it is interesting, right? This idea that God or the divine itself could make contact with people. That contact could warp and change them, render them monstrous, render them horrible, and maybe even completely kill them. But that divinity, upon gaining, I guess, an understanding of and an appreciation for the life with which it was making contact, could express sorrow for that event, Maybe even, like, compassion and love for the people that it has contacted. Because something with as many eyes as this thing clearly had probably understood Ebrietas better than anything else on this planet, in the world of Yharnam, right? In the world of Bloodborne. And the things that we will go on to learn about the cosmos, the Great Ones, and all of that stuff over the course of the next few episodes will paint a sort of interesting picture of the hierarchy of the gods, I guess, the divine. Because it's a little weird. It's maybe not what you'd expect, having played previous FromSoft games and, just knowing the things that you know about divinity, I guess. Mythology. So before we finish this episode, we're going to have a little coda to a story that was set up, I don't know, probably like 6 episodes ago now. Time flows in reverse for this scrap of flesh. So we have offered Queen Annalise of the Vileblood's body to this altar. So how's she doing? One wonders. One has to wonder, how's she doing? We don't have any cold blood, do we? No. Which is annoying, because I think this leaves us just shy of a level up. I might see if I can get a little bit more XP from our friends upstairs. Whoa, not going down there. Was that long hair? That's still not enough, is it? Womp womp. Oh, and I can't get back up there. No. How tedious. I guess I'll sell something. Is there anything I can sell? Actually, let's just check what the level up requirement is.
Very well. Let
35450. Okay. Yep. We can sell the Rite of Palace. We don't need it. We also sell the Tonitrus, which we can't really... I don't know. Doesn't really make much odds which one we sell, does it?
welcome. What is? Very well. Let
Womp.
farewell.
More blood tinge. More. Wow, down to exactly 20 blood vials. No, 21 blood vials. Never mind. Still, pretty close. Was there anything else that we were going to do while we were here? Can't remember. No, I don't think so. We were, however, going to return to the Forsaken Castle Canhurst, to Ligarius' seat. Because I don't know if you all remember, but at the conclusion of Alfred's storyline, where we told him where the Queen of the Vile Bloods was, and he turned up in his executioner cosplay and smashed her to pieces, we did note that the reason that Ligarius froze her here, the reason that he declined to kill her and instead hid her from the world, hiding his shame, was because she was truly immortal and could not die. And having offered her flesh to the altar of despair, here she is, totally reconstituted.
Arrant fool. Vile blood or no, forget not. We are thy queen. Bend the knee. Vile blood or
Okay. I have to kneel, do I? Wiki how kneel. Do I have a kneel gesture? There you go. I don't know. Alright, there you go.
closest of kin, bearer of our blood, I welcome thee. What is thy wish?
Well, we don't have any blood dregs for her.
Wait for the honor.
She doesn't seem particularly concerned that we led the man who smashed her to pieces here, but, you know, she's chill. She's chill about that kind of thing. So that's interesting, right? Like, we've talked before about how the Vile Bloods are, like, they were abhorrent to the church because they had used blood in a way that the church did not approve of, that had made their queen immortal, and, you know, done lots of other horrible things that were, you know, coded and obscured in a variety of ways. But it's interesting that not only is the queen truly immortal, unlike any resident of the church that we've found so far, but also that the key to restoring her flesh to make time flow backwards for it is at the altar of despair, is at the most secret location the church has, guarded, or, you know, at least watched over by Ebrietas of the Cosmos herself. It's interesting that the game chooses to link the Vile Bloods and the Great Ones in that way. That is cool and unusual. So we are going to go back to the dream. And then, what are we going to do then? A fine question. Oh, I know what we're going to do. We are going to go to the Nightmare Frontier. A location I accidentally arrived at some time ago without really wanting to. But now I do want to be here, so here we are. have a lot more of these wounded, fleshy graves that I pointed out. There was one of in the dream. You know, this idea of the inherent life of death is like cool. It's cool imagery to play with. And yeah, this is the Nightmare Frontier. We don't know too much about it yet, but we will learn about it over the course of the next 2 hours. By which I mean next week. So, once again, I must thank you all for coming to this episode of Jane Bloodborne's House of Eyeballs. We did, I didn't really talk about the Shadows over Innsmouth, huh? Well, somebody remind me to do that next time if anyone cares to hear me talk about it. But, I'll get to it at some point. The game, like, nudges at it pretty extensively, so I'll remember. Anyway, yes, we talked about a lot of stuff. We met the Celestial Emissary. We talked about how the Celestial Kin may have, influenced the development of early humanity and things like that. We talked about how the Church may have, artificially created some of these things. We also talked about what that means for the themes of Bloodborne. We talked about this idea of trying to create God on your own terms and the consequences of creating God on your own terms. And then we saw what Miyazaki's vision for the game considers to be like an unfettered presentation of God itself in the context of Bloodborne. We saw our first great one, Ebrietas, the daughter of the cosmos. We saw, she was the catalyst for a great number of the significant events that happened over the story, and having met her and found that she was premium wife material, we can see why. We can see why so many scholars completely lost their nuts, obsessed with her. But unfortunately, our marriage did not work out, and we stabbed her to death. But that is it for this time. Hopefully, you will join us next time for what I predict will be the penultimate episode of Jane Bloodborne's House of Eyeballs. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for being here in the chat. It's always lovely to have you here. But that is it from me. I will see you next week.